So recently, there's been a lot of discussion about whether or not this season is going to be Alexander Ovechkin's last. So what I want to do is I want to take over the Washington Capitals after Alexander Ovechkin retires. Now, ideally, I was going to take over for the 2026-2027 season. However, NHL 26 had other plans. They refused to let this man retire. I wanted him to retire after the 2026 season. That did not happen. Alexander Ovechkin had to play a couple more seasons, with his final season coming in 2028, where he played for the Dallas Stars. Now, this is not the way I want Alexander Ovechkin to end his career. I want him to end his career in the Washington Capitals, but I guess that wasn't in the cards for today's video. So Alexander Ovechkin has officially retired from the NHL, and now it's time for me to take over as the Washington Capitals GM for the next 10 seasons. Now, this video is not going to be starting in the off season, but instead I'm going to simulate to the beginning of the 2028-2029 season, and then I'll be taking over as the GM for the Washington Capitals. So the CPU is going to be handling the off season. Please don't do anything stupid. So let's go ahead and meet the 2028-2029 Washington Capitals, the team we're going to be taking over, and I have no problems with this team whatsoever. This team looks really good. Brady Tkachuk playing second line minutes for us. 11.1 million is not bad in the slightest. I really like this team right now. I feel like the contract situation on this team is going to be really good. We have a handful of young guys that are going to keep on getting better. The older vets, they're probably only locked down for a couple seasons. We're in a very good spot. Maybe our defense isn't that great, but it's amazing. How on earth is this team so good? Okay, hold on. I need to look at the contracts on this team. How are we good? I was fully expecting this team to not be good in the slightest, but apparently we are just absolutely elite. Whose contracts are expiring? Rasmus Sandin, yours is expiring. Truthfully, I think we're going to trade you away because there's no way we bring you back next season, except maybe we do. We have $14 million in cap space. How do we have $14 million in cap space? Okay, we just inherited the greatest team of all time, apparently. The contract situation here is fantastic. Ryan Leonard, I'm bringing you back for the next 2 years. Here's 4.4 million, less than what you're getting paid right now. And then Sandin, how much money do you want? $8 million. I'm probably not going to do that, considering you're playing third pairing minutes, but I will make a trade. But we just inherited an incredible team. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Sandin and Pierre-Luc Dubois are both going to be sent over to the Boston Bruins. We're going to bring in Viggo Bjork. I think he could be an incredible player for us. Medium league potential. We do need a playmaker on the team, and he's going to fill that role. We're also going to bring in Lysell for the bottom six. I don't really know where exactly he's going to be playing, but apparently he's not going to be playing for us because we're going to go 2-for-1 here. I think we fleece Boston. Now, we're actually going to make one more trade because I don't think we really have any true snipers on our team. We have a couple power forwards, but I think we could use a sniper on the top line. So, Pavel Dorfia, welcome to the team. You're going to be an amazing player for us. I'm very surprised this isn't enough, so I guess I'll give you a 7th round pick as well. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I did not know this Washington Capitals team was this good. Like, I've been letting the CPU handle everything for the past handful of years, but somehow they built this team right here, and we have a ridiculous amount of cap space still. Nah, those boys absolutely cooked. Now, after just 2 trades with the Washington Capitals, this is what our team is looking like, and we have about $15 million in cap space for next season. Yeah, no one's taking us down. I will adjust these defensive pairings, though. I don't know why he keeps doing this. Jacob Chikrin, your secondary position is right defense, so I'm going to play you over there. Matt Waugh, I'm now going to play you on the second pairing. I think it's actually Matt Roy, but that's neither here nor there. Cole Hudson, you're playing top pairing minutes, and then there you go. The defense has way more depth. Why would I want Cole Hudson playing third pairing minutes? That makes no sense. So yeah, here's the team moving into season number 1. We're looking incredible. I have zero concerns for us. So let's finally start simulating our very first season without Alexander Ovechkin. Ovi's officially retired. We're entering a new era with the Washington Capitals. And while we enter this new era with the Capitals, how about you enter a new era yourself? If you're a part of the over 55% of people that aren't subbed to the channel, enter a new era by subscribing to the channel right now. Now, heading into season number 1, of course, there's going to be some high expectations. We did not reach those expectations. Things are not looking good for the Capitals right now, and it's honestly very surprising because I feel like we have a really good team here. 3.21 goals per game isn't the best in the entire league, but it's certainly not bad. But 2.85 goals allowed, well, that has to be one of the best defenses in the entire league. Okay, it's not top 5 or anything, but our defense certainly isn't bad, so I guess we're just not scoring enough goals here. Except I feel like our offense really isn't that bad. I feel like our team's just not winning games. Like, our offense is probably just outside of top 10 in the entire league. Our defense is just outside of top 10 in the entire league, yet we're 19th in the entire league. I don't want to overthink things too much with this team because I feel like on paper we have a very good team and the plus minus numbers look very good. Is it just our bottom 6 holding us back? It must be, but it really isn't. Martin Fehervary and Matt Roy aren't the greatest in the world. The 4th line could use a bit of work, but outside of that, this team really isn't that bad. When it comes to goaltending, the numbers are good here. I don't really understand it. I really don't. Because Logan Thompson, you're putting up good numbers and we should be able to win with these numbers. So I'm not going to overthink things too much here. We might make one trade or two. I think it wouldn't hurt if we brought another sniper to the team. I think we have a good foundational core. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This is a difficult trade to make because Ryan Leonard, we did just extend you to a pretty good contract. However, you and Connor McMichael aren't Cole Caulfield. So I'm willing to make this trade. I'm willing to give up both of you guys in order for us to get this deal done. Like, Ryan Leonard's playing some bottom 6 minutes right now. I don't know if he's ever going to jump back into the top 6. I think we make a deal like this. I'm also willing to give up my first round pick for this season because after we acquire Cole Caulfield, we're going on a run and we're making the postseason. So hopefully this is going to be enough for him. And apparently we're giving up way too much, but we're 100% not. All right, so with the addition of Cole Caulfield, of course we're going to go on a run here. Or at least that's what the plan was. So Philly's winning a Stanley Cup. We had a 41-30-11 record. Clearly, we did not make the playoffs. That's a problem. This team should have been so much better, but we just weren't. We were not good enough. We didn't learn how to win the big games, and I don't really know why. I don't know where we ended up finishing in the standings. Maybe we were better, and it looks like we were 16th in the entire league. We missed the playoffs by 1 point. We missed the playoffs because of the tiebreaker. You know what? I'm not going to rip on this team. We showed promise after the trade deadline. We're heading in the right direction here. I think we might have had a top 10 offense. Never mind, we had a top 11 offense. And then when it comes to our defense, it was slightly worse after the trade deadline, and that definitely didn't help us. However, we're making strides in the right direction. This team will be better next season because we'll have a new head coach, and we all know a new head coach will completely make the difference. Cole Caulfield, what'd you do since joining the team? I'm expecting big things from you. 7 goals, 10 assists for 17 points. You kind of sucked. I'm not going to lie. Why were you -9? I'm expecting a lot more from you. I need you to be at least +10, not -9. You're holding us back. Meanwhile, Logan Thompson, I don't really know what happened this season. You were better after the trade deadline. This team just should have been better across the board. I don't really know what went wrong. We have a great team on paper. We just weren't able to find wins this season. It's as simple as that. Now, after not making the playoffs, we got to bounce back. And what better way to do that than from the draft? So how about we get ourselves a mediumly potential goaltender? But unfortunately, bro's already 20. So he's going to have to develop so quick, it's going to be ridiculous. Like, if he's not an 80 overall within like 3 years, then we basically have to trade him away. I honestly might trade him away now. Who knows? Now, basically 90% of our team is coming back next season. There's not too much for us to do. Everly and Charlie Coyle are both leaving the team. Sort of, maybe I can bring you back as long as it's a cheap contract, but I don't know how I feel about 3.5 million. But considering we have $21 million in cap space, I can probably do it, except I'm not. Lapierre will bring you in for 2.4 million. Sort of's going to be leaving. We'll sign a bunch of rookies, and then we'll make a splash in free agency. Now, before we make any splashes in free agency, I guess we should check in on extensions. And there's nothing really for us to check in on, because there's no notable players that need them. Miroshnichenko, here's 2.8 million, and that's it. That's all we have to do. So let's go drop an absolute bag in free agency. I have no clue who's available, but who is going to be available? Evan Bouchard. We don't need Evan Bouchard. Rasmus Sandin is here. We don't really need him. Svechnikov. We don't need you. We're making a trade because I'm not interested in any of these players. Now, after taking a look at what's available and what we can actually do here, we're probably not doing much. Zellweger, we're going to acquire you. I'm giving up a first rounder and a second rounder. We'll also give up a prospect in this deal. I don't want to give up Lakovic, but if I have to, I will. Except I 100% won't. I'm going to give up this guy instead because we got to keep Lakovic on the team. Moose Jaw Warrior legend. I'm not trading him away. Unfortunately, though, one prospect's not going to be enough, so I guess we're throwing a third rounder into this deal. I'm actually willing to pay quite a bit to get Zellweger on the team, and I'm very surprised this isn't enough. Here's another second round pick. This should be more than enough. We gave up way too much in that deal, but it's going to be worth it. Now, this will be an even better deal if he signs a reasonable extension with the team, but he's only looking for 2 seasons. I want to do longer than 2 seasons, so I'm going to hold off with you. Now, outside that trade, we will make some free agent signings, but I'm just bringing in some guys on 1-year deals. So John Tavares, I guess I can bring you in as an 83 overall. I'll give you 2.7 million for 1 season. I think that's going to be a good deal for us. Ogren, I have no clue why you're available, but here's 3.4 million. And I think we'll just have to finish it off with one more player here. I'm not too sure who it's going to be. Justin Brazeau. It has to be Justin Brazeau. Also, did I just see Dylan Holloway down there? Only an 82 overall? Nah, they're disrespecting my king right there. Why is Dylan Holloway only an 82 overall? What has happened to the league? Also, shout out to Tommy Novak for no particular reason. Just shout out to bro. Now, last season wasn't the greatest in the world. However, I'm going to call it a fluke. We made some adjustments to the team, and when I say we made adjustments, we changed the coaching staff a little bit. I think we had to shake up the coaching staff, but now that we've done that, I think this team is in an amazing spot. We have great offense from top to bottom. bottom, great defense from top to bottom, and we have a superstar goaltender between the pipes and Logan Thompson. We should be fine. I know our record didn't show it last season, but we're definitely one of the top teams in the NHL. Now, even though we have the exact same team as last season, we have a different coaching staff. Therefore, we're second in the entire league with a 40-17-4 record. And I think when it comes to point percentage, we're the best team in the entire league, and it looks like that is the case. So although Buffalo's ahead of us right now, just wait till the end of the season. Jacob Chychrun's leading the way with 68 points. Cole Caulfield, 31 goals and 64 points. That's what I'm expecting from you. Dylan Strome, Brady Tkachuk, everyone's looking real solid here. I don't think there's too many changes we have to make to our team. When it comes to goaltending, Logan Thompson's an absolute beast. What do I really want to do here? Like, realistically, are there any trades I want to make? I don't think so. I will double check on trade values though, because if a bottom 6 player has a ton of trade value, then we will make a move, but I don't think that's the case. And honestly, it doesn't really look like it. Like, I guess I could trade Chisholm away here, but we got to hold on to him for our Stanley Cup run, so we're not doing anything here. We're going to ride this team out for the rest of the year. Now, it's absolutely heartbreaking to see, but to finish out the season, the Buffalo Sabres are going to be finishing ahead of us. 3 points ahead of the Washington Capitals, even though we had a 52-24-6 record. Like, we were looking incredible this season, but I guess when push came to shove, Buffalo's going to be slightly better than us. Jacob Chychrun's going to be the lone point-a-game player on this team. He's picking up 30 goals and 52 helpers. Brady Tkachuk was pretty solid. Cole Caulfield was great as well. I can't complain about the goal scoring here. Truthfully, I'm actually very surprised Jacob Chychrun's picking up 30 goals, but we ourselves great goal scoring from top to bottom, so there's nothing for me to worry about. Goaltending's been amazing as well. Logan Thompson's been a stud in the 2 seasons that we played so far, but can this team step it up when the playoffs come around? We have the New York Rangers in the first round. Things aren't going to be easy for us, but I really like this Washington Capitals team right now, and I expect us to go on a deep run. Now, if I'm being completely honest, it's Stanley Cup or bust every season. Even though we're only in year number 2, we expect to win the Stanley Cup here. We are one of the best teams in the NHL, and right now we're proving that up until that Game 3 loss. Other than that, we've been looking like the best team. All we have to do is win one more game, and we can move on to the second round, and I think we can take down the Rangers, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we're already off to an incredible start, taking down the New York Rangers. We're moving on to the second round, but who are we going to be taking on? I know it's not going to be the Buffalo Sabres, because if anything, we're taking them on the conference finals, but instead we get the Philadelphia Flyers in the second round. So it's locking against Philadelphia, so we can take down the Buffalo Sabres in the conference finals, if they've made it to the conference finals, because who knows what's going to happen, but we have to make it to the conference finals first. And things aren't looking good for us. Game number 5 is a must-win for us. We have to make this 3-1 series comeback. We're winning Game 5, so we'll jump into Game 6. We just have to take this one game at a time. I don't care if we were down 3-1 at one point. We just have to take this one game at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 period at a time. And as long as we do that, I believe we can win this game and we can move on to game number 7. So stick on the ice legend. Justin Brazeau picked up some big-time goals there. He's forced game number 7, and now it's time for us to win one more. Win this game right here, and we can move on to the conference finals and potentially take on the Buffalo Sabres if they made it that far. I don't know why I keep talking about the Buffalo Sabres. We have to make it to the conference finals ourselves. I'm acting like we're guaranteed to make it to the conference finals. That is not the case. We might have a 1-goal lead here, but that means absolutely nothing. Moving into the third period, we're going to be winning that one, and now we're off to the conference finals. We've officially made it there. Now we can start talking about Buffalo. So it looks like the Buffalo Sabres are advancing along with us, and now it's time to take them on. Who is going to be winning the conference finals? Is it going to be the Washington Capitals or the Buffalo Sabres? Well, it looks like it's going to be the Washington Capitals. We're smoking them. We're off to the Stanley Cup final, a best of 7 to decide it all. Can we beat the Edmonton Oilers and win a Stanley Cup in year number 2? That would be the perfect start to the video, but we need to win right here, right now. We have a 3-1 series lead. We were down 3-1 against the Philadelphia Flyers, and look at us now, Stanley Cup champions. All right, I'm going to keep it a $150 with you. This went way better than expected. After being down 3-1 against the Philadelphia Flyers, I thought we were cooked. But nah, we made that 3-1 series comeback, and we went on to dominate the rest of the postseason. We finished the postseason 11-2, I believe. After being down 3-1, we won 3 straight games against the Philadelphia Flyers. We took down Buffalo in 5 games, took down Edmonton in 5 games to finish out the postseason 11-2. We were on that type of timing. The offensive numbers look amazing. I don't think that's really too much of a surprise. And then when it comes to goaltending, Logan Thompson, you were the man. 16 wins, 2 shouts, a 921 and a 246. We're already bringing home the Stanley Cup in year number 2, but more importantly, Charlie Lindgren, you're a Stanley Cup champion, and you can now retire as a Stanley Cup champion because you're not coming back to the team. You're 36 years old, you dropped to 78 overall, but you know what? You can say you're a Stanley Cup champion, and that's all that matters. Now, moving into the draft, we didn't have a ton of picks to work with, but at the end of the day, who cares? We just want a Stanley Cup, and that's all that matters. 8 years left in the rebuild. That could only mean we're going to finish with a 9-peat. Okay, I'm not sure if this actually helps us or not, but Zellweger dropped 2 overalls, so maybe he's willing to sign for less money, and it looks like he is, and we're going to be signing him for like 6.8 million. Somehow him regressing is actually the best thing that happened to us. His trade protection will be 50%, 6.8 million for the next 5 years. I don't know how a player regressing helped us, but it somehow did. So Zellweger, welcome back to the team. Chisholm, you're going to be leaving because I have a feeling you're looking for too much money here, and I'm not doing 6.1. So Chisholm's going to be leaving. Ogren's not interested in re-signing with the team, so he's probably looking for too much money. And yeah, I'm not doing 3.4 million. Truthfully, I think the rest of these guys are going to be walking unless they sign cheap contracts. Justin Brazeau, you did pick up some big goals for us, so here's 2.3 million. I'm willing to pay extra for Justin Brazeau because he's a stick on the ice legend and he showed up when it mattered. Now moving into the offseason, thankfully we do have a lot of cap space because there's a lot of extensions we need to hand out. Cole Caulfield's looking for the first one. Obviously, we're giving Bro an absolute bag. 12.5 million for the next 7. I feel like that's a no-brainer. Pavel Dorfia, you've earned a big contract as well. You want 9.1 million, but I'm not willing to give you quite that much. How about we get this down to $8 million for the next 5? 8 million for the next 5 is a good deal. You know what's even better? 7.7 for the next 5. I like that deal a little bit more. Bjork, how much are you going to be looking for? I see you're not interested in re-signing to the team, but we can still get this done. So I'll do $6 million for the next 3 seasons. I think that's pretty fair for him. He's a big-time player on the second line. We need to keep him around. Lapierre, we can write out your contract. Tom Wilson, we're going to write out your contract as well. And honestly, that's about it. So yeah, I guess extensions are actually going to be a lot easier than I thought they would be. Sustilev, I will give you 1.6 for the next 2 though. Now I guess there is one other guy we do need to sign here, and that player is going to be Logan Thompson, but I'm not doing 11.2 million. That's just not happening. Now, originally, I was going to bring Barkov to the team because I saw he was only looking for 1 season. Then I realized Jack Hughes is only looking for 2 seasons. I'd rather give Jack Hughes 2 years than Barkov 1. I know this affects the salary cap for next season, but it's Jack Hughes we're talking about. So I'm going to give you 13.5 million for 2 seasons, and I'm going to hope that you sign that contract. Once we know what's happening with Jack Hughes, then we'll figure out the rest of the offseason. But Jack Hughes, are we going to be walking away with you? Jack Hughes, Cole Caulfield, Brady Tkachuk on the top line. We will see success. Now, we do need to sign a couple defensemen, but we're just bringing in guys for 1 season. Zub, I can do 2.9 million. That's an absolute steal. And then Lindell, I can give you 2.6 for 1 season as well. There's our third pairing. Now, I still haven't figured out what happened over the offseason, but Jack Hughes, welcome to the team. I have no clue how we were able to bring you in. I have no clue why you were only looking for 2 seasons and only $13 million, but that's going to be an absolute steal for us. You're an amazing addition to this team. We're ready to run through the league this season. We're going back to back. No questions asked. We're simulating the entire season. Nothing stopping us. We don't have to stop at the trade deadline. There is literally nothing that is going to stop this Capitals team. I mean, we could stop it ourselves. Like, we could just not show up this season and play like complete frauds. Basically pull Toronto Maple Leafs. If you do that, we'll miss the playoffs. Now, last season, I could handle the disappointment of us not winning the President's Trophy. But this season, it's not right. 5th in the entire league. Really? We were 5th in the entire league. You're telling me there's 4 teams better than the Washington Capitals right now? I don't believe it. I refuse to believe there are 4 teams right now better than the Washington Capitals. There are 4 teams better than this team right here. Yeah, that's just not happening. That is not realistic in the slightest. Something's rigged here because this team is absolutely elite. Like, just look at Logan Thompson's numbers, especially with the offense in front of him, and you're telling me there are currently 4 teams better than the Washington Capitals? I refuse to believe that. We're going back to back. I'm sorry, but there is just no way you can actually convince me that there are 4 teams better than the Washington Capitals right now. I can't wait to lose in the first round after doing all of this yapping. I'm talking about how there's no way there's 4 teams better than us. We're allowing 7 goals in game number 2. This is what I get for yapping. This is what I get for running my mouth. Except things are actually looking decent for us. We have a 3-1 series lead. We just need to win game number 5 and then we can move on to the second round. Yeah, I was yapping for nothing. We are clearly one of the best teams. We have the Philadelphia Flyers in the second round. The last time we took on the Philadelphia Flyers in the second round, we were down 3-1, made a 3-1 series comeback, and then went on to win a Stanley Cup. However, I don't want to go down 3-1 against this team. I want to take them down pretty early. Right now, we have a 3-1 series lead ourselves, so we're not down 3-1. Instead, we have the 3-1 series lead, and it looks like we're taking them down 5 games. So we're back in the conference finals for the second year in a row, and now we get to take on the Detroit Red Wings, one of the few teams that were ahead of us in the standings. But guess what? The Washington Capitals are better. We have now lost 3 games in a row. We might end up losing 4 games in a row here. We're just going to go move to the draft, and we're going to pretend that this didn't happen. Nah, ain't no way I started talking smack about the Red Wings. They took us down in 5 games and then won the Stanley Cup. This is what I get for yapping. But you can't say our boys didn't put up a good fight, because you know what? The Washington Capitals are an amazing team. We did what we could, but the offense just wasn't there. Maybe goaltending just wasn't good enough, and it wasn't goaltending because Logan Thompson, 9 wins, 2 shouts, a 914, a 252. These are good enough numbers in order for us to win. So I don't know if the offense let down Logan Thompson. Maybe the defense let him down. Something clearly let this team down because we should have went back to back. Now, I guess the real question heading into next season, who's going to be returning as our goaltender? Because I'm not 100% sure whether or not Logan Thompson's coming back. Now, although things are bad, I guess I can smile about this. A lowly potential player in the first round. A lowly potential player will always bring a smile to my face, especially one in the first round. So I think we have to move on from that disappointment in the Red Wings. We can't focus on that. We can only focus on the future. And Lapierre, I don't know if you're a part of this team's future. You're looking for way too much money. Like, look at this defenseman. $825K. I'm definitely fine with $825K. I don't need to give you a 2-way contract. How about we just do like $1 million for the next 2 seasons? That's an absolute steal. Like, the difference in overall for these two guys, not that big of a difference. One player wants like triple what the other wants though. Andrew Crystal, I think there's a good chance you play some 4th line minutes this upcoming season. Protus, I guess you're going to be finally joining your brother. I feel like you should have higher than medium top 9 potential, especially considering you debuted in the NHL this season and you were absolutely dominating in the AHL. That's neither here nor there. You might be playing some 4th line minutes as well. Tom Wilson, on the other hand, thank you for the amazing seasons, but it's time for us to move on. Oh yeah, I guess there is this guy as well. Logan Thompson. What are you looking for when it comes to a contract? $9.6 million. I'm sorry, Logan, but I can't do that. I'm not committing that much money to you at 34 years old, so I guess we're going to be moving on. We'll bring in somebody over the offseason, but yeah, I just can't do that for a 34-year-old. Now, before we go ahead and bring a goaltender to the team, Cole Hudson, I just need to check in on your extension. I want to know how much money you're looking for. Okay, that is a number. A number I'm not sure if I'm willing to do. $15.5 million is a hefty contract, and I don't think you're really worth that. Jack Hughes, how much do you want? 14.4. Who do I want to bring back to the team more? Jack Hughes or Cole Hudson? I feel like I can trade Cole Hudson away and we can just bring in a replacement who's going to be equally as good for significantly less. Jack Hughes, on the other hand, we're bringing back for like $12.7 million. So I'm bringing Jack Hughes back. So Cole Hudson, I'm sorry, but we have to trade you away. Even though you were supposed to be a part of this team's future, I can't give you that much money. Okay, yeah, so we're 1000% trading bro away. Or do we trade Jacob Chikrin away? Hold on now. Because I'd rather keep Cole Hudson around because he's younger. You're going to start regressing pretty quick. Yeah, we're trading Jacob Chikrin. We're going to free up $9 million. Some of that money is going to go to Cole Hudson. Then we'll bring in our new goaltender. This is the move. All right, so just because of the cap situation, Jacob Chikrin, we're trading you away. We're bringing Lev Schnoff. And as you can see, his cap hit is $8 million. So you might be thinking, well, stick on the ice. There's no way you're going to clear up enough money to bring Cole Hudson back to the team. And you would be correct, because he's not coming back. We're actually going to be trading him as well just because of the cap situation here. We really don't have any other choice. We have to move on from him. So here's what we're going to do with Cole Hudson. We're going to trade him over to the Boston Bruins for 3 medium league potential players and a 1st round pick. This is a no-brainer. I'll give you our 1st round pick. I will exchange 1st round picks here. This is an absolute steal for us. And then after we exchange 1st round picks, we're going to go pick up a goaltender because these 1st round picks have so much value because right now we don't have a goalie. You got fleeced, Boston. Now, some of these guys we did trade for are currently RFAs, so bringing them back to the team might be a bit more difficult than I realized. Okay, Frondell, you are not coming back to this team. You will be traded. When it comes to this medium top 6 potential player, you will be traded as well. I thought you guys would sign more reasonable deals. Apparently, I know nothing. This guy will sign a reasonable deal, but what is his player type? Because I actually never looked at that. He is a 2-way forward. I don't know if I want you on the team. You know what? We're going to figure it out on the fly. All right, so what we're going to do with Frondell is we're going to package him up with the 2nd round pick. Voros is going to be brought to the team. He's under contract for the next 4 years and a very reasonable cap hit of $5.2 million. 85 overall player. I won't say no to this, but apparently the Vancouver Canucks will. So I'll throw in a 7th round pick. Hopefully that's going to be enough to make the difference. They're saying no. We might be doing multiple 2nd rounders, but I guess that's not the end of the world. Here is 2 2nd round picks. Hopefully that's going to be enough, and it looks like it will be. Now let's go pick somebody else up. We're going to keep on making trades, and it looks like we found our new goaltender. Ravensburg, you're an 86 overall. welcome to the team. I'll give you this medium top 6 potential RFA. Are we getting a little bit fleeced in this deal? Sort of, but now we have our goalie. All right, so I'm really hoping Ravensburgen's going to sign a cheap contract with the team because I need to bring him back, and it looks like we can do something reasonable here. I'm probably going to do 3 years and give him a no movement in that final season just so we can save some money here. We can get this down to 6.5 million probably. I think that's a great deal for Ravensburgen. Welcome back at 6.5. And then with the remaining money, Tukkanen, I think we can actually bring you back here as long as we can save some money. If we can get this down to 6.5, I think we're good to go. But 6.5 is a little bit risky. What if I did 5 years and gave you no movement in that final season? Yeah, this is what we're doing. 6.5 for the next 5. So hopefully after all the trades and everything we did, we have enough money to bring everyone back to the team, because if we don't, that's going to be tough. Ravensburgen is accepting, Jack Hughes is accepting, and Tukkanen's accepting. We're ready to roll. All right, what can I say? Last season was definitely disappointing for the boys, but this season won't be disappointing. We made a handful of moves over the offseason. The cap situation on this team, a little bit ridiculous. Like, things went bad very, very quick. However, we made some moves. I think we're actually in a better position. We have a lot of good young players on this team that are going to continue to develop. And as long as we can keep all of these young guys around, we're going to be winning like 7 straight President's Trophies. This season could be a little bit questionable. We're definitely making the playoffs. No concern about that. But are we going to win the President's Trophy? I don't think so. I don't think we're the favorite to win the President's Trophy this season. Next season, however, after we give all these guys another year to develop, well, we're going to dominate and win 60 plus games. All right. Here we are, President's Trophy winners, first in the entire league, a 55-19-8 record. I thought after all the trades we made, we weren't going to be nearly as good, but we were even better. Maybe it's because Jack Hughes was playing on the top line. I don't really know what the difference was this season. Brady Tkachuk did have 48 goals, but this team was just rolling this season. We solved a lot of our problems. Don't really like the fact that Zellweger was -2, but you know what? We'll make it work here. Ravensburgen, you were incredible. 44 wins, 4 shots, a 907 and a 263, but will you step up in the playoffs? Can you help us win another Stanley Cup? I guess we're about to find out. We have Buffalo in the first round. Now, normally I wouldn't be worried about the Buffalo Sabres, considering they're the second wildcard team. However, it wasn't that long ago. Buffalo is one of the best teams in the entire league, so I'm not sleeping on them. They're winning game number 1. Honestly, I'm not surprised. They're winning game 2 as well. This is why I told you guys not to sleep on the Buffalo Sabres. We need to start winning some games here. Can we win back-to-back games? We're down 3-1. I knew this was going to happen. I saw this coming from a mile away. The Buffalo Sabres were going to take us down. I predicted this. I saw this all happening. We're not looking at stats. We're not looking at anything. We're moving on to next season. I saw this happening from a mile away. I predicted it before the postseason even began. Okay, you know what? This kind of makes up for things. We're getting the 3rd overall pick from Boston. We did drop from 1 to 3, though. I do want to point that out. But we're still getting the 3rd overall. All right, so with the 3rd overall pick, who do I want to bring to the team here? Because I don't really want to draft a defensive defenseman. I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the first 2 guys to get selected, and then we'll trade for one of those 2 guys. The first player is an 83 overall power forward. I wouldn't mind bringing a power forward to the team. And then with the 2nd overall pick, a right wing sniper. Who do I want to bring in here? I think both of these players could be really good for us. What are the odds we can bring both of them onto the team? We'll start with the guy that Boston drafted, but I think we might be able to get both of them. I don't know why I said Boston. It wasn't Boston. It was Nashville. We own Boston's pick. I was so confused when looking at Boston. I was like, wait, where is this man? They never even drafted him. He went to Nashville. I'm tweaking. So I'm going to trade the 3rd overall pick over to the Nashville Predators for the guy they selected 1st overall. And we're going to go 1 for 1 in that deal. Makes sense. Now, when it comes to the 2nd overall pick, St. Louis, how can we bring this man to our team? I know we do have some other 1st round picks we can work with here. We have the 24th overall from the Chicago Blackhawks. Maybe if I package that up with a mediumly potential goaltender, we might be able to get something done here. But St. Louis, I really want to walk away with that player that you drafted 2nd overall. I feel like this deal is going to be a lot easier said than done, but I do think there's a universe in which we get this done. Suits to love, maybe I can throw you into this deal. I highly doubt you're going to be the difference maker, and you're definitely not. But do I really need this man? I'm not 100% sure. We do have another good young prospect on the team. He's like a 76 overall. Timonen, I guess I can trade you away, but do I want to trade you away? You're a power forward as well, so our 2 centermen are both going to be power forwards. This is actually kind of a tough decision. Or do I just trade him away in order to bring that sniper to the team? I feel like trading Bro away to bring in this guy makes a little bit more sense. He's a couple overalls higher. He is a little bit younger. I'm going to offer this trade 1-for-1. Just see what St. Louis is thinking. They're going to be saying no. I'll give you the 24th overall pick as well, and we should be able to get this done, but I want something else back. How about you give me this 79 overall left defenseman? He can play some good third pairing minutes. I think this is an incredible deal for us, and we will get this deal done. So I'll throw in the 92nd overall pick as well. Hopefully that's going to make the difference. They're saying no, but they just want a 7th round pick. What an absolute fleece right here. Nah, St. Louis, you're getting robbed. You are getting robbed in broad daylight, and you're doing absolutely nothing about it. Look at all these elite players we just brought to the team. But are these elite players going to be enough for us to get out of the first round? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, when it comes to what we're going to do here during the re-sign phase, nothing. We are going to do absolutely nothing. That's all we're going to do. We're going to sign a couple of these guys to really cheap contracts, but Miroshnichenko and Justin Brazeau, you're leaving the team. The re-sign phase is not going to be notable in the slightest. Now, over the offseason, I don't think we're really going to have to do too much here. Martin Ferravari, I think we're just going to end up riding out your contract. You're 32 years old right now. I don't really know if you're a part of this team's future. I could trade you away. However, I'm going to want you for this Stanley Cup run. Meanwhile, when it comes to Levshunov, we're holding off because I want to do a multi-year deal. With everyone else, it's really just cheap contracts. If they're willing to sign cheap deals to bring them back to the team, if not, they're going to be walking. So over the offseason, we did nothing. Like absolutely nothing. We did trade for these two guys at the draft, but outside that, we're basically rocking the exact same team. I'm pretty sure it is the exact same team, player for player here. There's literally no reason we need to make any changes. Just show up in the playoffs and we'll be fine. Like, this team won the President's Trophy last season, and if we didn't have to take on Buffalo in the first round, we would have went on a run. However, we had to take on an elite team. I don't care if they were the second wildcard team. Not that long ago, they were the President's Trophy winners, so in reality, they were still a really good team. Alright, so you know for a fact, if I'm bringing out this strat right here, we did something incredible this season, and we just have to sit and watch the postseason happen. I need the Washington Capitals to win a Stanley Cup this season. Washington, I can live with you losing in the first round last season, but not this season. This season, you need to win the Stanley Cup. You cannot fall to the Tampa Bay Lightning. What on earth are you guys doing? You need to wake up right now. Wake up and take down the Tampa Bay Lightning. We cannot be falling in the first round. Win me 3 straight games. No, y'all are frauds. Absolute frauds here. This team was so good. The Capitals were so good this season. Like, I can't even express it in words. A 64-10-8 record. We were incredible. Nobody could even compete with us this season. We won 13 more games than the next closest team. Tampa Bay, how many games did you guys win? 44. We won 20 more games than the Tampa Bay Lightning, but they're taking us down the first round. Back-to-back first round exits. We had 3 100-point players, 4 point-a-game players. Levshunov was a superstar. This team from top to bottom looked incredible. And you know what that got us? A first round loss. Ravensburgen, you face all the blame, because this team was perfectly fine until we brought you to the team, and this is what you've done over the past 2 seasons. Nah, can I trade, bro? When does his no movement kick in? It doesn't kick in for another 2 years. We're trading him. I mean, I'm actually not 100% sure whether or not we're trading him, because he is a very good goaltender. But yeah, back-to-back postseasons where Ravensburg is facing the blame, because when we had Logan Thompson, we were cooking. We brought in Ravensburgen, and things went downhill. Now, us losing in the first round obviously hurts a ton, but you know what I realized? I could have traded Martin Ferravari away and got a ton of assets for him, but instead of trading him away, what did I do? I held on to him for this postseason run, and what'd that lead us to? A first round exit. I could have gotten a lot from Martin Ferravari, but instead I got a first round exit. Sometimes you just got to capitalize on players' trade values, because what was I cooking? Also, I'm assuming this draft is not going to be giving me too much. Maybe we can get a mediumly potential goaltender here. Medium fringe starter. That kind of sums up this season. Now, we already know Martin Ferravari is going to be leaving the team here. However, Levshunov, I'm keeping you around. I'm just hoping you're willing to do a long-term deal, and this long-term deal does not help us. $15 million is absurd, but we can get something done. Honestly, I would kind of like to do $14 million for the next 6 seasons. I'll keep you around for the rest of this video, and hopefully you're going to accept that, and it looks like you are. Now, when it comes to everyone else, they have to leave the team. We don't have enough money for them. Now, before we do anything here, Brady Tkachuk, I'm looking at giving you an extension, but how much money do you want? We're riding out your contract. I'm not giving you $18 million. That's not happening. Engel, maybe I can bring you back to the team. You want $6 million. That is a reasonable contract. That is something I can work with. I'll give you a modified no trade clause, 50% trade protection. You're going to come back for less than $5.5 million. You're going to finish off this video on an incredible contract, $5 million for the next 4. Might be a little bit low. Here's $5.2 million for the next 4 years. welcome back. Bjork, there's actually a chance you leave this team because you probably want too much money. That's not happening. All right, we're riding out 2 contracts. This has never backfired before in the slightest. Hopefully it doesn't backfire again today. Also, this goaltender is actually kind of developed for me, so here's 950K for the next 2. Now, there's only one move we're going to make over the offseason. Unger Sorum, 2.8 for the next 3 years. You're going to play bottom 6 minutes. That is it. That is the only move we're making. We are running it back with the exact same team. This has never backfired before, and it won't backfire again. All right, so Washington, figure it out. That's all I have to say. Just figure it out here. We have the talent to win Stanley Cups. We have the defense to win a Stanley Cup. But do we have the goaltender? I am giving Ravensburgen one last chance just because he's up to an 87 overall. His poise is an 84. I feel like he should be able to win. However, there is one thing I noticed. His reflexes aren't that good. And truthfully, that's really the only category I think that matters when it comes to goaltenders. Because when we're talking about his athletic, who cares about what his aggressiveness is? Who really cares about his endurance and his durability? I don't really know how much his speed and agility really impacts the simulation. I can understand how vision can be important to the simulation, but out of all those athletic stats, that's the only one that I think will actually impact anything. But when taking a look at his reflexes, like his angles are okay, his breakaway's not that good, his 5-hole's not that good, his glove high isn't that good, his stick side really isn't that good. Ravensburgen, I'm giving you one last chance, but if you're a bit of a fraud this season, then I'm moving on from you. Now, I don't need to talk about Washington's record right now, but instead the Buffalo Sabres. This was a team who was the second wildcard not too long ago. Now they're second in the entire league. So that tells me 2 years ago, that was a fluke. Last season, Tampa Bay, they weren't that great. Now they're fourth in the entire league. So even though we've lost in the first round in back-to-back seasons, we can't say we've been losing to bad teams. We've actually been losing to some very good teams. We had a handful of point-of-game players, but none of that matters. We had great goaltending from Ravensburgen. That doesn't matter. What matters? The postseason, and that's where we're headed right now. Y'all better not lose to Detroit. Like, I'm just saying, Buffalo looks like a great team right now. Tampa Bay looks like a really good team right now. If both of those teams are elite teams right now, then last season, Tampa clearly wasn't that bad. Buffalo 2 years ago, clearly they weren't that bad. Why did we just lose a game against the Red Wings? Lock in, tee up, I don't care what y'all have to do, but we are not losing to the Red Wings. I refuse to lose to the Detroit Red Wings right here. We need to start winning some games. We're really going to lose. I don't even want to jump into game 6. We're just simulating game 6. We might lose in the first round once again. I don't even know what to do at this point. We're jumping into game 7. Game 7 for the President's Trophy winners to get out of the first round. We need to get out of the first round here. I don't know why we're struggling to get out of the first round, but we are. It's time for us to lock in. We allowed back-to-back goals in the first period. Not really ideal. Moving into the second, we're really going to lose this one. I'm simulating the game slowly. We're going to watch the rest of this one unless we completely take over, because I think the Red Wings are going to make this comeback, but maybe not. We've scored back-to-back goals. Don't allow 2 late ones. All right, here comes the fall off. Malinsky's picking up a big-time goal. We only have a 1-goal lead here. The Red Wings might tie this one late. We need to find a way to win this game right here, and we're good. We picked up a late insurance goal, and we're moving on to the second round. It's been a long time since we've been here. I don't know why we've struggled as much as we have the past couple years, but it doesn't matter anymore. We're out of the first round, and now that we've gotten out of the first round, there is no turning back. It is time for the boys to lock in right here, right now. We're going to sweep the Islanders and move on to the conference finals. That's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a sweep though, because we are losing game number 2, but that's fine. We'll close out in game number 5, or we can close out in game number 6. Closing out in game number 6 is also an option. Nothing wrong with that. But you know what would be wrong? Losing in game 7. We are back in another game 7. So Washington, you need to figure it out once again. You need to find a way to win game number 7. However, this one might be a bit more difficult. We've allowed back-to-back goals. We're trailing entering the third. Somebody find the back of the net, and it looks like that player is going to be Jack Hughes. Late in the third period, he's going to be picking up a big-time goal, but can we pick up the OT winner? It doesn't look like it, because we're going to be picking up the double OT winner. That better not have been a shorthanded goal. I think Sergachev scored a shorthanded goal. Ain't no way we lost in double overtime on a shorthanded goal. I'm sick. These boys really lost on a shorthanded goal in game 7. You can't make this up. Honestly, at this point, it's got to be Ravensburgen's fault. Like, we have to point the blame at somebody, and it's got to be Ravensburgen. I don't know what it is. It's his fault. Ravensburgen, you're gone. We're not bringing you back next season. It's as simple as that. We're trading him at the draft. I am done with this. I am so sick of this nonsense with him. Bro lets me down time and time again. All right, so here's how I'm going to decide on which goaltender we bring to the team moving forward. We're looking at reflexes. We are going to bring one of the top goaltenders in the league to our team, and honestly, that might be Jack Reeves. Do we bring in Jack Reeves? I know he's 33 years old, but it's Jack Reeves. I feel like Jack Reeves makes a lot of sense here, but so does Dietz. Dietz has some pretty good reflexes, so I think we're going to go with him. Even though the rest of his stats don't look great, like his poise is only a 68, I feel like he could be a really good goaltender for us. Like, his numbers didn't look that great, but he was playing on Seattle. With our team in front of him, I think he can take over, so that's the trade we're making. We're picking up Dietz. So I don't know if we're going to be doing any drafting here, or at least any notable drafting. Dietz, you're coming to the team. That's really all I'm focused on right now. You're an 84 overall. I don't really recall how old you are, but I don't think you're super old. You're only 23, so you definitely fit our timeline. Ravensburgen, say goodbye. I'm done with you. We're trading them 1-for-1. I've given up with bro. But you know what? Maybe we don't need Dietz, because we did just get a medium league potential goaltender in the first round. However, I'm not really too focused on him. Colorado got a high start potential goaltender who's beginning as a 72 overall. That's definitely an interesting pickup. Now, after getting an amazing goaltender in the first round, our drafting success is going to continue. Now we're getting a medium league potential playmaker who more than likely is going to be a trade asset. We have ourselves $31 million in cap space. So Brady Tkachuk, are you willing to do something more reasonable? I'm really happy we held off with him, because I can definitely do this. $11 million for the next 2 seasons. Let's actually get that down to like 10.5 million. 10.5 for the next 2 with Brady Tkachuk is actually a very good contract. Bjork, I think there's a good chance you don't come back to the team. I'm not giving you $10 million. Allen, maybe you can be a third pairing defenseman. And at 2.7 million, honestly, that's not too bad. So I guess you're coming back to the team. When it comes to this other defenseman, we could bring him in as well. And 1.6 million is an absolute steal. So it looks like he's returning as well. And then outside those 2 guys, of course, we have to head over to Dietz. There's a reason we brought him onto the team, and he wants $10 million. All right, we're taking a swing here. Dietz is either going to be a superstar for us, or this is going to be one of the worst contracts I've ever handed out. And honestly, I'm really hoping he turns out to be a superstar. $9 million for the next 4. We're praying for a miracle. Now, luckily, we do have a bit of cap space to work with, because there are a handful of players we have to re-sign. Protas, I think you can be one guy that leaves the team here. We do have a lot of good young players that can replace you, so I guess that's going to be happening. Merchant, I don't really know where you're going to be playing on the team, but for 4.2 million, you can play a lot of places. But unfortunately, with you only looking for a 1-year contract, I think we're going to hold off for now. Zellweger, I think there's actually a good chance that you end up leaving the team, because I'm not giving you that deal. Brouwer, I'm pretty sure we can re-sign you for cheap. 4.7 million is not the cheapest in the world, but we can probably get something done. I'll do 4.5 for the next 2 seasons. I think you can end up being a top 6 player for us. Here's 4.4 million. I guess we'll see what happens. Voros, we need to bring you back to the team. Hopefully you're willing to do something reasonable. And 10.6 million for 1 season is not terrible, but of course I want to do multiple years, so I guess we're holding off. All right, so here's what we're going to do with Zellweger. I'm going to trade him over to the Nashville Predators. We're bringing in Cameron Boss. He's an 88 overall. He'll be an upgrade from Zellweger. Now, there's no way they're accepting this 1-for-1, but I still want to offer just in case they were dumb, and they did accept that. So I'll package him up with a 2nd-round pick, and this should be enough to get the deal done. I guess they want some more assets. I guess I can give you our 1st-round pick for this season. It's not like we're going to be using that draft pick, so I'll trade that away. They need a 7th-round pick as well, and then we can get this deal done. So I'll throw in a 2036 7th-round pick, and just like that, Boss has been brought to the team. Now, with that acquisition, we do have a surplus of right defensemen. So Voros, maybe we trade you away and pick up a left defenseman. And you know who can be a great defenseman for us? Richie. He fits the criteria perfectly. A good defensive defenseman. 8.1 million is not the worst contract in the world. Voros will send you over, and of course we'll include a couple draft picks. So I'll throw in a 2nd and 3rd rounder for 2036. Hopefully that's going to be enough to make the difference. They're saying no. Do we have any young players we can trade away? I think we do. Unger Sorum, I guess I can throw you into this deal. You could be the difference maker. Show it to bro. Now, based on the contract situation of this team, we need to bring in some cheap players for the 4th line. And you know what? Here's our 4th line. We're picking up all 3 players from the San Jose Sharks. We're trading away a medium league potential prospect that we don't really need. This is a great deal for us. We did make a handful of moves over the offseason, but obviously the most important move was the goaltending change. Dietz was brought in, and I fully expect him to be a superstar. I need him to change this franchise. I need him to single-handedly turn us around. He's up to an 87 overall. His reflexes look amazing. Although his poise is terrible, I think he's going to make up with that because of those reflexes. Like, this man's going to be able to make some saves. Now, this is a big season right here because it kind of sets the standard for the rest of this video. Dietz, I believe in you. I have so much faith in you, it's actually ridiculous. I know you're an elite goaltender. I know you're going to stand tall when it matters most. And I know this team is going to score goals in front of you. Just look at the goal scoring numbers on this team. You can't tell me we're not going to score goals in front of Dietz. But can he keep the puck out of the net? Well, we're about to find that out. 45 wins, 6 shouts, a 916, a 242. He was incredible this season. But in the past, our goaltenders have looked great during the regular season. The postseason is where they crumble. We have Toronto in the first round. We cannot lose. I refuse to lose to Toronto in the first round. I can live with losing to Buffalo, and I can live with losing to Tampa Bay, not Toronto. Losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs here would be where I draw the line. I refuse to lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Out of all teams, we cannot lose to the Maple Leafs. We need to lock in. We need to go on a deep run. I need this game to simulate, and it is taking quite a long time to simulate. We dropped game number 2, but that's not the end of the world, because we always seem to drop game number 2, and then we start winning games after that. We're winning game 3, but we're dropping game 4. Game 5 is the most important game. Game 5 is a game that we cannot afford to lose, so let's lock in and win game number 5. That's what we're doing 4-1. We're going to close out in game 6, because if we go to game 7, then we're definitely losing in the first round, so let's win game 6. We're done messing around. I do want to say in the last 2 games, Dietz was pretty solid. He is the reason that we're moving on to the second round, but the second round isn't good enough for me. I want a Stanley Cup. So we have the Pittsburgh Penguins up next. Dietz, I need you to keep on dominating. You allowed 5 goals in game number 1. That's not really ideal, but maybe you can bounce back. And a shutout in game number 3 is incredible. We've won 3 games in a row. Can we make it 4 games in a row and move on to the conference finals? It doesn't look like it. The defense has been a little bit questionable in this series, but I guess it doesn't matter. We're back in the conference finals. We are back in the conference finals to meet up against the Buffalo Sabres. We definitely have a chip on our shoulder, and we are looking to get revenge. We want to take down the Buffalo Sabres, but it's not going to be that easy. We've split the series with them so far. Game number 5 is important, and we're winning that one. But win me game 6 right here so we can make it to the Stanley Cup final. We are here. We are in the Stanley Cup final, 4 wins away from hoisting the Stanley Cup, but we allowed 8 goals in game 1 and 7 goals in game number 3. But I guess it doesn't matter if you're winning games 2 and games 4. It's a best of 3 moving forward. Nothing else matters, only these next 3 games coming up. We need to win game number 5, and that's exactly what we're doing. Now win me game 6. We don't want to go to game 7. We want to win the Stanley Cup right here, right now, and that's what we're doing. Dietz is a hero. I don't care if his postseason numbers don't look good. We want a Stanley Cup with him. Ravensburgen, you're a fraud. Straight up. You are an absolute fraud. The second we got rid of bro, what did we end up doing? We ended up winning a Stanley Cup. Pavel Dorfia, I'm going to ignore the fact that you're minus 10. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. And Protus, I'm going to pretend that you're not minus 7. But Dietz, you're a Stanley Cup winning goaltender. You had a 900 save percentage and a goals against of a 3.03. These numbers are terrible. But you know what's not terrible? Being a Stanley Cup champion, and that's what you are this season. So even though your numbers look terrible, I couldn't care less because you brought home a Stanley Cup with the boys. That is Stanley Cup number 2 for the Washington Capitals, but of course, the job is not done. 3 more years remain. We're completing a 4-peat. Now, after winning a Stanley Cup, it appears that we're not going to be seeing a lot of success when it comes to the draft, but honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, we want a Stanley Cup. That's the main goal. Now, moving into the re-sign phase, we have $11 million to work with. Merchant, I'm not too sure how much you're looking for, but you want $9.6 million. Where do you play in the lineup? Because it doesn't make sense to keep you around that price tag. I'm not 100% sure. I'll qualify you as an RFA. Protus, it looks like you are going to be leaving the team. And if you're going to be leaving the team, I think it's only right your brother walks as well. You guys have to stick together. Meanwhile, Sakura, how much do you want? Because we could probably bring you back. And at 1.9 million, you can continue to play on the bottom 6 for me. So we got through the re-sign phase and we didn't have to spend any money. Now, when it comes to extensions, I don't think we have to spend any money here because Brady Tkachuk, you're looking for too much money when it comes to an extension. Pavel Dorfia, you're 34 years old, so I'm not going to bring you back to the team. With everyone else, unless we can do cheap contracts, more than likely you guys are going to be leaving. So if we want to make any adjustments to this team over the offseason, we're going to have to make some trades. Also, I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it happened last season or 2 years ago, but I guess Dylan Strom's no longer on the team. I guess he retired on us. He might have retired like 3 years ago, and I just never realized it till now. But yeah, shout out to Dylan Strome. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. If we can walk away with Nelson and Conklin, then I think we're kind of set for the future. I think we're going to be able to re-sign both these guys. They can be some good top 6 players. We're going to take a bit of a risk here. Now, obviously, they're not accepting this deal because they're not interested in it. However, what if I throw in first round picks? I can give you 2 first rounders, and I feel like that should be enough to get this one done. Perfect. Now we need to bring both of those players back. Now, that might be easier said than done, But if it works out for us, then we're cooking. Right now, Nelson's interested in a contract extension, and he was the main guy I was focused on, and 8.5 for the next 2 years is an absolute steal. So I'll give him $8 million for the next 2 years. He's going to be coming back. Conklin, how much are you looking for? Hopefully it's less than 11 million. You want 14.8. You know what? We might just be riding out your contract. Brady Tkachuk and Paul Dorfier are both going to be leaving. Maybe Conklin will take one of their spots in the future. I guess time will tell. Now, before we move to next season, there is one thing for us to do. We do need to sign a third pairing defenseman. I have no clue who that defenseman is going to be, but now I do. Lilyberg, welcome to the team. $925K for 1 season. That's a steal. So the Washington Capitals are coming off a Stanley Cup, and if you were to ask me, I don't think we're going to stop rolling anytime soon. We have incredible line chemistry throughout the entire lineup right now. The defense looks amazing as well. If we were able to win a Stanley Cup last season, why aren't we winning this season? Dietz is up to an 89 overall. You know he's ready to run it back. If we could win with Dietz in his first season with the team, we can definitely win when he's better and the rest of the team is better. We're an improved version from last season, and you're telling me we can't win? That's not how it works. Now, of course, it was another season of dominance from the Washington Capitals. However, Buffalo will be ahead of us by 10 points. We finished with a 54-23-5 record, while they finished with a 60-19-3 record. So we're going to have to watch out for the Buffalo Sabres. They had a better offense and a better defense than us. Are the Washington Capitals officially washed? They might be, because this team was not producing offensively this season, and that's actually a pretty big surprise. I was expecting quite a bit more offensively from us. Dietz, the numbers weren't quite as good. I feel like we're heading to a first round loss. We're going to lose to the Ottawa Senators, aren't we? I can see the writing on the wall already. And you know what? Because of that, I'm not even turning the face cam on. The writing is on the wall already. We're going to fall in the first round to the Ottawa Senators. I can see it coming. What a surprise. We dropped game number 1, and we dropped game number 2. I saw this coming. I predicted this. We're losing game number 3 as well. Like, you actually can't make this up. We're really going to fall to the Ottawa Senators in the first round after winning a Stanley Cup last season. It's actually ridiculous. I have played this game so much. I can predict when this stuff's going to happen. I've gotten to the point I can see the future in this game. It's actually a bit ridiculous. Alright, so what went wrong? Because clearly something went wrong here. The Winnipeg Jets are Stanley Cup champions, but we did nothing. We did a whole lot of nothing there. I don't even know what to say. The offense wasn't good. The defense was amazing. Like, Dietz had a save percentage of a 925. I don't really care what the goals against is. If he's posting a 925, we should be able to win. But obviously, we didn't have the support in front of him, and because of that, we're a first round exit. This team either wins the Stanley Cup or loses in the first round, and apparently no in between. But you know what? We still have 2 years left in the rebuild. We have 2 Stanley Cups under our belts already. We might as well walk away with 2 more. Now, normally, if I were to draft a medium league potential player like this, I'd be gassed up about it. But I couldn't care less, because we lost in the first round. So moving into the offseason, lots of cap space to work with. Paul Dorfier, we're not bringing you back to the team. Conklin, I want to bring you back though, and please do something reasonable. I can work with this. If we can get this down to $10 million to come back to the team, and we're going to do less than that, 9.5 potentially for the next 4 seasons. Can we get this down to exactly 9 million for the next 4? It looks like it. I'm going to get greedy here. 8.8 million for the next 4 years. I'm going to hope he accepts that. I'm just going to offer that over to him. And it looks like he's coming back to the team for 8.8 million. What an absolute steal. Brady Tkachuk, you want 13.6 million. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do less money, but I'll give you a no movement. And by doing that, we should be able to get this down to like 11.5 million, maybe even $11 million. Okay, we might get this down to the $10 million range. We're going to save a lot of money with Brady Tkachuk here. We're looking at $10 million for the next 2. That's what I'm offering him. I don't expect him to accept this, but you know what? Crazier things have happened. Brady Tkachuk, are you rejoining the team? He wants a bit more money. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, it's no surprise there. We'll do 10.5. So 10.5 should be more than enough to keep Brady Tkachuk around. We're offering that contract over. We'll see if he accepts. It looks like he is. Brady Tkachuk, welcome back. We have $8.7 million left, and I think we'll save that for free agency. And we're down to the final 2 seasons. So when it comes to contract extensions, we only have to worry about 1 season here. Tuukkanen's looking for $11 million. Obviously, we're bringing him back to the team. He's a key player for us. One of the better players on this team. 10.7 million. Actually, let's do less than that. I'll get it down to like 10 million for the next 8 years. Actually, not quite that much. We'll do $10.4 million for the next 8. So that will keep him around. And then when it comes to Brouwer, honestly, I have no clue what we're actually going to be doing with Bro. I don't really know where he fits in the lineup. If I give him an additional season, I still can't give him a clause. What if we did 2 additional years? I'll give him a clause, but we can't really save money. I guess we'll just hold off with him and see what happens. Now, moving into these final 2 seasons, I'm not going to lie to you. Our bottom 6 and third pairing defense is going to be questionable. However, we'll make it work. I was kind of hoping a second round pick would be enough to get this deal done. I guess I have to throw in a 7th as well, but I'm perfectly fine with that. This should be enough to get these 2 players, and it looks like it is. Now, there was another medium league potential player that we just drafted not that long ago. It's time for us to move on from him. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade this medium league potential player over to the New York Rangers. Ekman's going to be brought in. He can play some third pairing minutes, but we're also getting 2 second rounders as well. I guess not. We're only going to be walking away with 1 second, but I'm okay with that. So we're going to keep on moving out draft picks. Here's the next 2 players being brought in. Andrew Crystal is going to be returned to Washington. It only makes sense. Unfortunately, this package isn't enough, so we have to throw in a 4th rounder, but we're eventually going to get this deal done. And after all of these moves, there's only one last thing for us to do. We have to sign 1 defenseman, 1 right defenseman to be exact. So let's just bring in somebody on a really cheap contract for 1 season. It doesn't really matter who it is. This guy will be perfect. 24 years old, a 79 overall. What if we did 2 seasons? I'll do 2 years at 1.1 million. An absolute steal. Now, as long as nobody retires, a majority of these players are going to be coming back next season. But are these players going to be good enough to win a Stanley Cup? I'm not sure. Cole Caulfield, Jack Hughes, and Brady Tkachuk definitely aren't young by any means. However, they continue to put up some really good numbers, and as long as that continues, we'll be in a great spot. The defense is looking fantastic. Dietz is a pretty solid goaltender. I don't care if we don't have a backup. We don't need one. I probably should go get a backup goaltender, but you know what? We're not going to worry about it. Kong, I believe, has medium league potential, or maybe the goaltender we have in the AHL has medium league potential. One of our goaltenders outside of Dietz does have medium league potential. Whether they're our backup or an AHL starter, I guess it really doesn't matter. Now, I was questioning some of those old veterans on the team. I was questioning Jack Hughes. I was questioning Cole Caulfield. I questioned Brady Tkachuk. Clearly shouldn't have done that because this team locked in. And those top guys, well, they were rolling this season. Jack Hughes, 99 points. Brady Tkachuk, 85 points, including 54 goals. Meanwhile, Cole Caulfield, yeah, he's definitely regressing. Only 72 points, but he did pick up 27 goals, and that's all that matters. Our top 6 is rolling right now. The defense is incredible. Dietz is putting up some historic numbers. Look at Kong. This man should be the starter in the postseason. A 942 and a 165. Do I turn to him in the postseason? Obviously not, because his stats aren't that good. But this man was locked in this season. If we don't win a Stanley Cup, that's going to be one of the biggest questions. Maybe we should have turned to him, because that man was like that this season. I mean, at the end of the day, he was only a 73 overall, so I feel like there should be no consideration. Like, there is no reason we should turn to him. However, you saw those numbers. Bro looked incredible. We dropped game number 1. I feel like I just shouldn't talk at all. I feel like we should just watch what happens, but I want to yap. We've split the series so far. Game number 5 is going to be the most important one. We should be able to win that one, but then we'll drop game 6 and win game 7. That is what I'm predicting. I am predicting a game 6 loss so we can go to game number 7. Is that happening? I guess not. I guess I don't know everything. We're moving on to the second round. So we made to the second round and things are looking pretty solid so far, but are those things going to continue? We have no clue. We dominated game number 1. Can we win game number 2? Yes, we can. As long as we don't drop back-to-back games, we're in an amazing spot, and it looks like we're going to be in that great spot. We have a 3-1 series lead. We're going to demolish the Islanders in game number 5, and we're moving on to the conference finals. Like, we really just smoked the Islanders there. Like, they had no chance. We're moving on to the Montreal Canadiens. I know they've had a handful of high-up draft picks, so their team should be looking pretty solid, but I'm not too sure if they're good enough. We've shut them out 2 times so far. Can we make it 3 shutouts? It doesn't look like it, but who cares? We're back in the Stanley Cup final. I don't care if we pick up shutouts or not, as long as we get W's at the end of the day. W's are the only things that matter. We have picked up 3 W's so far. It's time for us to get our 4th, and we're taking down the Nashville Predators. Another Stanley Cup, but we still have 1 more season to go, and we have 1 more Stanley Cup to collect. Now, as good as our offensive numbers look during this postseason run, we have to highlight one man. This guy right here, Jackson Dietz. 16 wins, 4 shutouts, a 940, and a 176. Based on the amount of shutouts he recorded, I knew he had some incredible numbers, but I didn't think they would be this good. He is the sole reason we won a Stanley Cup here. Although the offensive numbers were great, that man was something special. So as long as we can run it back with this exact same team next season, we're going back to back, no doubt in my mind. All right, well, we don't stand a chance next season. Brady Tkachuk and Jack Hughes retired. Yeah, we don't have a hope next season. I don't know how we're going to replace them both. Hopefully there's a superstar in free agency we can get for really cheap somehow. So we have 1 more draft to get through here, so that could only mean one thing. We have to finish this video off with 1 more low league potential player. It wouldn't be a stick on the ice video without a couple low league potential players. So we have ourselves $28 million to work with in cap space. So Brouwer, I will bring you back to the team. I basically have no no other option. We lost all of our good players, so here's 9.2 million for the next 2 seasons. You can return, and then we'll try to find some other superstar in free agency. Also, I guess Connolly can come back too for 2.2 million. That's not bad either. So we need to find ourselves another superstar here, and ideally a superstar centerman. As you can see, there is only defensemen and wingers available. Like, somehow there's not a single forward, but that's not the end of the world, because we can look at RFAs, and there is this medium franchise potential player here. We're going to try to bring Bro to the team. I'm going to throw him the biggest bag imaginable, and we are going to hope he accepts that. Here is $17.1 million. I think we have first round picks. It looks like we do. So there you go. Hopefully he's going to be joining the team. When it comes to the remaining $2 million, we'll figure that out later. Now we're hoping for a little bit of good news. I'm hoping to see LA taking all of our first round picks, because I want to walk away with that medium franchise potential player, but we're not getting it. They're going to be matching his offer. So we're in a lot of trouble, because there's going to be basically nobody left. We're 11 days into free agency. We're cooked. Like, Cole Sillinger is our best option. Nice. All right, so we're basically just praying for a miracle. Florida, accept this deal for some reason. I'm not surprised they're not accepting. I'll take Carlson out of the deal. Maybe we can get both of these guys. That's actually not that bad. I can work with that, because we can probably get another deal done with Florida, and I can just trade them all of these draft picks right here for that other player. Like, we'll bring in Joseph here. I don't think we need to bring anyone else onto the team. I mean, we'll try for Carlson as well. If we can get both of these guys, then we're fine for next season. We're going to be lacking a couple superstars in the top 6, but the bottom 6 won't be that bad. So it's officially time for the last dance. We began this rebuild 10 years ago after Alexander Ovechkin retired, and over the 9 years so far, we've been able to walk away with 3 Stanley Cups. However, 3 Stanley Cups is not good enough for me. It's time for us to get number 4. The Washington Capitals have lost a handful of players. However, we still have Dietz. We still have Cole Caulfield on the team, and outside of those 2 guys, I don't think we need any more. So here we go. One last dance for the Washington Capitals. Third in the entire league, a 54-25-3 record. The offense was looking pretty strong. The defense was okay. We're ready to win one more. I am a little concerned that Levshunov led the team in scoring with only 73 points. I have a feeling once the playoffs come around, we're not going to be able to score enough. But you know what? We'll figure it out as the time comes. There's a lot of 20-goal scorers on this team, so no matter which line is on the ice, somebody's going to be able to find the back of the net. We know what Dietz can do during the postseason. Let's just go get one more. We don't need to overcomplicate things. We know what it takes to win. One more Stanley Cup to finish off this video. So far, the Washington Capitals have been a great team without Alexander Ovechkin, but we need to win one more in his memory. One more for Ovi right here, right now. It's time for this team to lock in. We might drop game number 2, but that's perfectly fine, because we're locking in after that. So let's just go ahead and close out in game number 5, and that's exactly what we're doing. If you noticed a very weird cut right there, I was holding in a sneeze, and then I did sneeze, and I kind of sneezed into the mic, so it would have been very, very loud. So we'll just pretend that didn't happen. So we're moving on to the second round, and we're taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't really feel like sneezing, so there's nothing to worry about. We're just going to take on the Blue Jackets and then move on to the conference finals after we beat them. However, we did just drop the first 2 games. That's not really ideal. We're down 3-1. Is this the end for the Washington Capitals? Are the Capitals going to be falling right here, right now? It looks like it. After a decade of dominance, the Washington Capitals are finally falling, and our video comes to an end just like that. I mean, at the end of the day, over the past 10 years, we were able to win 3 Stanley Cups. I don't think there's any NHL fans out there that would complain about 3 Stanley Cups over a 10-year period. I would take that. I would certainly take that from my St. Louis Blues, so I think Capitals fans are going to be happy about this one. 3 Stanley Cups over the past 10 years, nothing to complain about there, except there sort of is. You guys can complain about the first round losses, because this team in theory probably should have won 5 Stanley Cups, but there were way too many first round losses. I think there was 3, maybe even 4 first round losses for this Washington Capitals team. So considering we won 3 Stanley Cups and at the very minimum 3 first round losses, that's not really adding up to me. But at the end of the day, you guys won 3 Stanley Cups, and you did it all without Alexander Ovechkin. Who knows if he's returning for the 2026-2027 season? I guess only time will tell.